Hold on. We got some confirmation in the chat that the heptathlon has been talked about. So there you go. The chat got your back on that one, Gordon. So
thank you. Chat got my back.
Hey, so you wanted to talk about these topics, but you didn't want to talk about Naser and the suspension because we talked about that before.
Yeah, we can talk about her too. Let's talk a little about her.
Well, no, I want to keep you on your 10-minute schedule. We want to keep you on your schedule.
Well, the thing about Naser is like, we kind of already went over this. Just another whereabouts type situation. I mean, it's not like anything new happened. It's basically she won her case and then she lost her. Then AIU and World Athletics basically won up to her and be like, well, we don't believe you. And then they won the final case. So it's a whereabouts thing. It's all sketchy in my mind with yes or no. I think a lot of people who have these whereabouts failures are just guilty of negligence and not really guilty of actually trying to dope. And that's just like my take on all whereabouts failures is that, they made a mistake, not a actual trying to get an advantage over the competition. But there also could be one person who actually is trying to do that, and you never know. And that's why they have 2-year bans. But I really don't want to give much credence to this topic. I mean, it's like, all right, yeah, it sucks for the sport because she just won a title and you're being banned after winning the title, but the title's not being taken away. They did mention that she was drug tested like almost 18 times leading up to that title. So
but I don't get
because
of
that.
Is that a rule now? Is that a rule now?
I don't know.
Because what I thought happens is she had. I know you don't want to get too much into this, so I'll go quick.
That's fine.
And you'll just cut down your other 2 topics to 8 minutes apiece. What I thought happened is she had the 3 missed tests pre Doha, right? But she was appealing them, so it was still under debate, right? They were still going back and forth. She was presenting evidence, and she was allowed to present her case. Okay, that happened. Doha wins gold, but then gets a 4th one, and then they hit her with the suspension. But then when she appeals the suspension, I thought at least one of those got thrown out because it was a situation where they had the wrong address and they ended up knocking on what they thought was her residence, and it turned out to be a room that was just filled with gas canisters at some sort of apartment complex or something. So then they threw that one out. So I was thinking the one that they threw out was pre-Doha, which meant there was only 2 whereabouts failures pre-Doha, and then the other one was post-Doha. But then they they put this info out that's like, oh, she'd been drug tested 19 times, so like we're going to let her keep her medal. But like, since when has that been a rule? Yeah. That like the fact that you've passed a bunch of tests can override the fact that you had suspensions. I mean, if there's a clearer explanation, please, I would love to hear it. But it seems like that is just something that is new to this case, and you just don't want to get into the sticky situation of reallocating medals or stripping medals. I
think a big factor is because it's a whereabouts failure, not a positive test. I think that's the difference. Whereabouts failures are kind of treated differently as positive tests. There's a lot more lenience in them because it's not an actual proof of doping. It's just proof of suspected doping, which is different, I guess. I don't know.
What's the rule? Like, we need a rule.
There are no rules, man. They don't call you. They do this. They do that. You get moved this from the beginning of the quarter to the back of the quarter. It's all bullshit. I mean, you see suspensions go from 4 years to 2, from 2 to 18 months. So you get 1 extra world championship in. It's all bullshit. It's all not normal. It's all over the place. You see people easily get away with it. You see people easily not get away with it. You see people who they knocked on their door while they literally were competing at a World Athletics event, but because they didn't update the app, the test that they took at the World Athletics event didn't count. They had to be in their room from across the country that they forgot to update. You see people who got whereabouts failure because they literally were visiting the White House and didn't update it. There's all this stuff. You have people who are facing a 5-year ban who can still run in the Olympic trials, but then other people who can't. It's all over the place. And because of that, I refuse to have any trust in truth or fiction, fact or lie. I don't know. It's all stupid. I just want to watch track and field and not talk about bullshit whereabouts failures another time in my life. And
with that, Gordon's going to talk about the World Athletics rankings. Go ahead.
Do you?
I'm
I
gonna
mean, do you
turn off
have
my
anything else you
camera.
want to say? Do you have anyone? I don't know.
I mean, I agree with some of that, and I disagree with some of it, but it's a much longer
Okay,
conversation that we
cool.
have time for right now. So I'll let you proceed. I just
I
don't want
appreciate you
people
agreeing with
thinking
some
that I
of it.
agree that yeah, I want people to know that I don't condone a lot of what Gordon said, but I also want to move on. There you go.
That sounds good. So the final world rankings came out.